Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Was, The Forces of Nature. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and I also post a brand new series over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was a godlike genius with chakra technology. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And if you're new, yes, I did have 4 channel guys, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what is so we jump on into this new episode start? The intro guys. So, the last part that we left off. Jiraiya arrived back to the village. As he arrived to speak to Sarutobi upon the new shinobis arriving in the village. It seems that the Tishikage and the Raikage was up to something. The shinobis that they sent, it seems like they want to boost the popularity of their village as well. After all, they did not send any normal shinobi. That girl was the granddaughter of the Tishikage. Her name was Kurasuke. She was held back from going to the academy from the information he was able to gather. However, she was no normal genin. However, Hiruzen didn't seem to be worried at all, as he had complete faith, knowing that at least one of his teams would make it there, and that was Team 7. He had complete faith in them. Team 7 had proven to be above and beyond in all of his aspects that he come to like so far. He told Jiraiya to sit down as he informed about the things that has happened since he was gone. Although Jiraiya heard the rumors from where he was about the group in Konoha. Meanwhile that was going on though, Naruto and his group stepped into the room. Upon doing so, Gaara and the others released bloodlust towards them. Sasuke scoffed at how pathetic it was as he released his own. The same demeanor that Madara Uchiha had that could make enemies piss themselves by just looking at them. Sasuke was tapping into that raw Uchiha bloodlust. Naruto then enhanced it as well, making a battle of the ages with just bloodlust. As the Proctor had to be the one to came in to end the battle between them. As the place was getting destroyed, the windows were starting to tremble, the ground was cracking. As Gaara stood there, as he watched the Uzumaki, the mother that was in his head told him how much she wanted to see the Uzumaki dead. As for Jiraiya, as he watched all of that on the crystal ball with Hiruzen, well, that was quite the sight. They did not know if Naruto knew that Jiraiya was his godfather, but he did know about his parents. They had a conversation not too long ago. As Naruto had found out, however, his emotion varied on that. The reason why his father did something like that to him, and his mother as well, because to save this village. However, Hiruzen wanted to make sure that Naruto understand the will of fire, because most time he believed that the will of fire don't burn as strongly in Naruto as he thought. So with that, they went to the first phase. They made their way towards the second phase, which consists of Anko. She wished the team good luck before they headed off. Around 15 minutes into the forest, they split apart as they went to gather scroll. It seems like the upper officials were correct. Team 8 was being targeted, not just them though, the other genin teams, as they wanted to show Konoha that they were nothing. Although it wasn't the top ninjas that went after them. Hinata, Kiba, and Shino was facing off against them, but they got themselves into a trap when 2 teams arrived from the rain, and a team arrived from the stone. However, Naruto arrived there. The group watched in shock as Naruto was brutal. He decimated the stone group like it was nothing. He actually killed them without battering an eye. They then saw him rush into the forest. They heard screaming. He then came back and told them to show him his scroll. They got frightened as they thought that he was going to fight them. Kiba, never really been friends with that Naruto so much, he raised a hand in defense. However, Naruto tossed him the scroll that they didn't have. as it seems like the two of them forget, because Shin already knew what Naruto was doing. However, having one person aid them in this endeavor when they couldn't even handle themselves and it was the three of them was kind of embarrassing, and Shino felt that. However, Naruto was more brutal than he thought, turning people into ash with fire, and the way he did it was so effortless. Naruto and his group met back up as they had several scrolls amongst themselves until they were attacked. A giant snake tried to attack them, but Naruto cut it down. It was then that Orochimaru revealed himself. The intellect of knowing who he is was shocking to Orochimaru as they figured out quite quickly. So with that, they started the battle as Orochimaru was going after Sasuke. However, Naruto prevented that at all costs. Saya was in the trees as she launched a weapon towards him. Orochimaru found himself into several sticky situations that a man of his stature should never find himself in. He was a Sanin. He felt humiliated. He was forced to shed his skin twice because of some mere child. The rage that was simmering inside of him was nothing easy, as he controlled the Kusanagi blade as it tore directly through Naruto's chest. However, Naruto grit his teeth as he screamed out to the heavens. The sky darkened as electricity ran down from the heavens, decimating the entire place, but Orochimaru was able to slip away though. That didn't say that he had to resort to his final form, which was quite the humiliation, because Naruto was able to use the Mokiton to suppress his chakra. Orochimaru was shocked as he never thought that this was a possibility. He just thought that Naruto had control over all the main elements, not the sub-elements, and not bloodlines like the Mokiton. The kid was far more powerful than he thought. Seeing Naruto collapse on the ground with a sword in his chest, Sasuke got mad as he activated his Mangekyou. "Amaterasu," he said. Orochimaru was baffled as he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Sasuke lit the entire place up in flames, his eyes bleeding, but he set the place aflames. Orochimaru couldn't believe it as he couldn't understand how did Sasuke already possess these eyes. The eyes really came back as a haunting for him as you remember when Itachi placed him under that illusion. And he was almost killed if it wasn't for Kabuto, and yet his brother here also possessed these eyes as well. The news was quite shocking to him as he couldn't believe it. He had to end up fleeing, as he would get Sasuke another time, but for now, this was dragging too much to their location. As Saya and Sasuke watched as Naruto had the sword buried inside his chest. However, the vines came and grabbed their waists and pulled them away, confusing them as they thought they were being attacked, but it was bringing them to safety as another beam of electricity shot down from the clouds and slammed into Naruto rather roughly. The sword was turned into ash as Orochimaru felt his connection cut with the Kusanagi blade, which further angered him. As the two looked at Naruto as the wound that healed up instantly, smoke was coming from his body. As Saya checked his pulse, he was completely fine. That was rather shocking. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys gain switch across the place for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode, guys? Let's jump right into it. We begin this episode with Naruto as he stood on top of the roof of the tower in the forest of death. The time was soon coming to an end. His team was the second to get here. That was only because of their problem with Orochimaru, and they had to spend an extra day waiting for him to wake up. Orochimaru's sword had stabbed him right to the back and coming through his chest. It was a miracle that he was even alive. By normal standards, he should have been dead, not just by the wound alone. Orochimaru's blade had a poison inside of it that was extremely deadly. However, from what Saya and Sasuke told him, the lightning that hit him seemed to eviscerate all of that. However, as the days went by, he realized that it wasn't completely gone. The poison had somehow fused with his body. As he stood on top of the roof, he reached down, as a small root emerged from his hand. Said root started to release a gas. It was a poison. He could release it in its purest form. It somehow seemed to be duplicating within the Mokiton whenever he used the ability. The poison was quite potent and deadly. As Naruto closed his palm as it vanished, he had not revealed his Mokiton to most of the populace. In actuality, the person that knew about it was Saya, the Hokage, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Anko. Oh yeah, and Ayam. As he had grew a flower right in front of her eye for her, a plant, as she was amazed by the feat. Other than that, no one else knew. He was planning to use it at the finals of Chunin exams. A day view, after all. He agreed with Danzo's philosophy. If they want to be known, if they want to make sure that Konoha remained #1, they had to show what the new generation was capable of. So him and Sasuke already made up their mind to go all out in this exam, to show the world what they were capable of. He clenched his fists. He has gotten so stronger over the past couple of years. He's been able to completely fuse his sub-elements together, bringing out several of them. It was hard work. It was a good thing that his elements didn't affect him, otherwise he would have been electrocuted and burned at least 1,000 times now. And also poisoned, and not to mention, well, disintegrated by the poisonous gas acid that he released. But it didn't affect him one bit, and that was a good thing. Naruto felt someone approaching from behind. He said nothing as the person got closer. However, the person just stopped and just stood there watching him. "Can I help you?" said Naruto as he turned his gaze. There he was, Gaara, the third member of the Sand team, the one that held the Shikaku at bay. However, even Kurama told Naruto that something was wrong with his kid, and the Shikaku chakra was different. It seems off. He told him that he needed to be cautious. Kurama knew how powerful Naruto was, so for him telling him to be cautious for this guy, there must be something seriously wrong there. As Naruto took his words, "Uzumaki," said Gaara, that same smile on his face. He then proceeded to grip his face rather tightly as he dropped to one knee as Naruto raised the eyebrow. Just what in the hell was going on with this guy? He then started to laugh. Naruto watched as strange black markings came on Gaara's face. They start from his left shoulder as they stop right at his eye. It was then that Naruto saw it. Gaara's eye color was light blue, but now his left eye was completely black. His lips stretched up into a smirk. As Naruto narrowed his gaze and focused on him, as Gaara slowly walked in a circle, causing Naruto to do the same. The both of them just looking at one another. "Who are you?" said Naruto. "Can't you see?" he said. His voice sounded the same, however there was an underlying tone to it. "I'm Gaara, the one from the sand, don't you remember? Are you that easy to forget? People name." "No, you're not," said Naruto. "That boy that I was talking to a moment ago. You are not him, I can feel it." "Oh, you can you?" "Well then, do you know what I am?" "No," said Naruto. "Well then, I guess I still have the upper hand. But know this, Uzumaki. We shall make a grand spectacle at the finals. I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be fun. I want you to show me all you have before I slaughter you alive. And why do you want to kill me so badly? I'm afraid if you don't know, I can't tell you just yet. But know this though, make sure to say goodbye to the ones that you care about, because you will be dead in a month's time. Our battle shall be spectacular." "You think you can kill me?" said Naruto. As Gaara started to laugh. His laugh sounded psychotic and scary as hell. However, Naruto was unfazed by that. "You have no idea what I'm capable of. I will crush you into dust and laugh as the ones that you care about die. It will be fun. Until then though, after all here, it's not the perfect spectacle. We need a place where we won't be interrupted, where we can truly let loose, and I can show you what I'm capable of." A small smirk came on Naruto's face. "Oh, pray tell, what about my statement is so funny?" "You seem to misunderstand the situation," said Naruto. "The irony of you believing that you're the one that's gonna take the win in that battle. I promise you, when the finals do come around, and you face me, the last thing you will see," as Naruto reached behind him and unsheathed his blade, "is this. Before you die." "Quite confident, are you? Well, I expected no less. But make sure you bring that same confidence. Make sure you be that same way, and don't let me down. After all, I'm looking for a good challenge, and you're the one to give me that. A shame I have to cut your potential too short. After all, I can't have you getting in my way in the future, so you will have to die." As Naruto gaze narrowed at that, Gaara then gripped his face as the black markings receded as he blinked a few times. He then turned and walked away like some kind of drone. As Naruto watched him, he was like a robot, a puppet. You feel that, Grandma, said Naruto. Yes. There was no emotions but unending darkness and death. Whatever that thing is, it's nothing normal. And I can't just kill him, can I? Said Naruto. It will be a big problem. After all, he is the son of the 4th Kazekage. Even if you are willing to explain that, he has some kind of entity taking control of him. I doubt they will believe you. And this could cause war between the nations. I guess you just have to wait and kill him in the exams that is to come. I guess I have to, said Naruto. As he wondered, was this the darkness the dragons were talking about? This couldn't be a coincidence, right? They themselves did not know. The prophecy that came from Leviathan was something that only he saw, and he could not fully comprehend what the darkness was. But what was this thing that knew him? However, it was not going to give him any answer. He just had to make sure that he was ready. He didn't know how strong this thing was, or how it was affecting Gaara. If he was to talk to his Sand siblings now, he doubted they would believe him, and besides, in a month's time, their brother will have to die for him to purge this thing away from the earth. Time skip. Sasuke glanced around as they were all gathered in the center of the tower. It was an arena of sorts, with a giant statue over to the side. The Chunin senseis were at the balcony. As he looked towards Naruto, who seemed to be fine, the stab in the chest wasn't affecting him at all. The medics had checked him over, and he was fine, the Hokage said. They had a talk with him about Orochimaru, as Hiruzen had spoken to Anko and she and the team had went out there, probably to search for him. She arrived not too long ago, however. They came back with nothing result. As Sasuke knew that was the case, he doubted that Orochimaru would stick around. However, the snake Sannin was after him, as he wondered if it was because of his eyes. The Hokage told him that Orochimaru wanted to become the strongest to learn all techniques. The Sharingan was a great tool to do so, but he had no choice but to reveal his Mangekyo. He had awakened it on the bridge when he thought that Naruto had died. However, after that, Sasuke wasn't thinking much about that or anything else, so he did not focus on that. There was only 2 people beside his team that knew about his eyes, and that was Kakashi and Hiruzen. And the other 2 was his teammates, so there wasn't anyone else. He hadn't even told Ayam about it. Well, this was ninja-related matters. Speaking of her, no, Sasuke shook his head as he focused back on what the Hokage was saying. However, the man came to an end. A new proctor stepped up as he looked rather sickly. He was coughing. His name was Hayate. As Sasuke saw that there wasn't many members around, although him and his team were a big part of that, eliminated several teams in the forest. He glanced over as he saw Team 8 looking at them with suspicion. A little bit of fear from Kiba as well. The fear was attached to Naruto. He hadn't really spent time with any of the other kids in the academy, so he didn't really know them that well. However, he can't say that he didn't know them at all. However, looking Kiba's eyes was one of fear as he looked towards Naruto. He did say that he helped out Team 7. Maybe Naruto took care of the team in a rather brutal way. Sasuke had killed before and he was used to doing so, but Naruto despised the other nations, so much so that he was willing to end their life without even giving them a second chance. Which was quite brutal in Sasuke's opinion, but just like the Uchiha clan, the Uzumakis were wiped away without even a second thought by the 3 nations just because they were getting more powerful, and that made Naruto resent them a lot. At the moment though, the Kumo team had made it, and so one of his stone team as well. There was a girl on the team that was looking at him with this cocky smirk. He paid her no attention. The rookies were here as well. The rest of them were just a waste of time. A board came up with the names on them. As it started to flash through names, Sasuke's name was the first to pop up, as that brought a smile to his face as he waited for the second name. And the name was Conqueror of the Sand. Will the rest of you please make your way up towards the stairs? Good luck, said Naruto, although I doubt you will need it. As Saya passed by him, just try not to lose, she said. It will really be disappointing. As she gave him one of those cocky smirks as usual, Sasuke simply shook his head as he focused on his opponent. The members made their way up. Sasuke-kun is fighting first. He's so cool, said Ino, with a smile on her face. As the others didn't really share her sentiment, as the people just looked down there. Kurosaki leaned up on the wall. So let's see what they're capable of, she thought to herself. First, the Uchiha. Although, she said as she glanced over towards the team that Uchiha was from, the one that she was more interested in was that blonde. There was something about him though. When he had first stepped in the room, the amount of power that he had released from mere sheer blood loss alone was rather shocking to her, and she wanted to see what he was capable of. After all, crushing Konoha pride means destroying their toughest opponent. Are the both of you ready? Kankuro simply smirked. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. This guy was flapping his mouth off the first time, and now he was rather quiet, really quiet. The match was begin. Sasuke pulled two kunas as he launched them. Kankuro proceeded to dodge them as he dropped the white thing on his back. As Sasuke's eyes flashed the Sharingan for a split second, a second that Kankuro did not see. It was then that he saw the threads coming from that thing on the ground, and not to mention the full life body source of chakra. Ah, I see now, he thought to himself. Kankuro rushed towards him as he pulled a kunai out. Sasuke saw his motive as he quickly flashed two hand sign. Fire style, he said. Fireball jutsu. Kankuro leaped over the attack. In that very moment there was a poof as a seal on Sasuke's wrist activated as he caught the Fuma Shuriken. He then proceeded to launch it with incredible force as it split through the air. Kankuro was nowhere near that, as he didn't know why. Everyone watches Kankuro suddenly stop. The real body burst right out of the binding, rather quickly, showing that the one that was fighting Sasuke was nothing but a puppet. Before Kankuro could see a word, that sword was torn right through the fake puppets, slashing it in half. Damn it, Kankuro cursed, he's fast. In a split second it took him to get out of here. He had already sliced down his puppet. He prepared himself as Sasuke rushed towards him, but then a smirk came on his face. It's over, he thought. Hands burst from the ground and wrapped around Sasuke's body as a puppet tore itself out of the ground. The group upstairs looked behind Kankuro as they saw the gigantic hole that he was tearing out while he was in that, well, mummified state. Tuh, said Kurosaki, already caught. I guess the Uchiha was just all talk, she said, rather loudly. However, as she glanced towards his team, they seemed to not care. She thought they would at least be disappointed. Something is not right, said Yujito as she glanced down there. What are you talking about? It's over. Can't you see that guy? BAM! Kankuro was knocked senseless as a feet hit him right in the face. The attack sent him sailing. He hit the wall head first, boom! Slamming against it. It actually caused his skull to bleed as he collapsed. There was no getting up, he was unconscious straight away. The people were shocked. Kunai had a smile on her face. I must say, Kakashi, that student of yours is well adept in genjutsu. That he is, Kakashi said. Asuma now saw why Uncle was praising your skills like that. Darui narrowed his gaze as he looked down. He saw what the Uchiha did as well. Those first two kunas that he threw, they were nothing but to get close to the target. He had already seen that Kankuro was a disguise the entire time. He used that fireball as a disguise, and he swapped with that kunai of his. He then proceeded to transform at the same exact moment, causing like nothing happened. And he was behind Kankuro the entire time, replacing himself there with a clone. As the proctor came down and announced Sasuke the winner, Sasuke walked past all of the ninjas, not paying them any mind. I expected nothing less, said Naruto. It would have been truly disappointed if you had lost, said Saya. You know, you two could just say congratulations, right? Who would we be if we say that? Kankuro was taken towards the medical bay. Temari looked towards Gaara, however he was not pissed as she thought. She thought he would be angry because Kankuro had lost, but he was not. He was just so calm once again, which confused her. However, she said nothing as she watched Kankuro being taken away. The Uchiha was a lot better than she thought. Kankuro was knocked out so quickly. This was surely a disappointment. Her father would not like this at all. Doesn't matter, Kurosaki thought to herself. They still won't stand a chance against me. None of them will. The board went through names once again. The next match was Shino Aberumi versus Tsubaki. As Naruto noticed that some of the Jonins had a look of recollection in their eyes. Kakashi, said Naruto as he turned towards the man. That's Kakashi-sensei, said Kakashi. Yes, Kakashi, said Naruto. Kakashi's eye twitched as he knew that Naruto was doing this on purpose. Who is that girl, he asked. Well, that's a long story. It's mostly because of her clan. A long time ago, them and the Aberumi clan had problems with one another. The ending of that story was end with majority of her clan being wiped out, and seeing that they left the village to accomplish his task. The Tishikage was not pleased with them, so for a long while now they've been at disgrace. She's probably here to regain her honor. So someone is actually picking those names, said Naruto. And what do you mean by that, said Kakashi. Well, why would the only Aberumi here be the one to fight her, given their past? Oh, I'm sure that's just a coincidence, Kakashi said, with an eye smile. You're right, said Sasuke as he overheard the conversation. Tsubaki's face was determined as she made her way down there. As there was no smile, her face was just blank. As Naruto could hear the bees buzzing from here, Shino was as calm as ever, as he made his way down there as well. The match started out with the both of them faking one another with bees and bug clones. Despite not being an all-fighting match, it was brutal. The way they fight with vigor in their movements, it seems like Shino knew about the past as well. However, her bees were nothing compared to Shino bugs. Shino bugs were small in comparison, however, some of her bees were rather large, and so his bugs attached themselves to her bees, a lot of them at once, as her bees started to drop. The fight went on for a while until Shino exhausted her, but he was not looking so well either. However, she did not stop until she passed out. It just showed the determination that the woman had. However, her bees had this toxin in their sting, and Shino got stung a few times. With that amount of stinging, he should have been dead, but his bugs were able to counteract the toxin that went in his stream. However, the two of them passed out at the same moment, declaring the match a draw as none of them would pass on. However, it was one heck of a match. Kurosaki was angry that Tsubaki got defeated like that. She told Akisaki not to lose. He said he would try his best, but she didn't like that one bit. She was angry. The next match was Samui versus Ino, and that was just a big disappointment. Even Kunai was beyond disappointed, as Ino had lost within seconds. Ino couldn't keep up with her speed, a simple chop and she was down for the count. Kunai was disappointed in that, as the other villages Kunoichi were proven to be quite powerful, but yet Konoha Kunoichis were proven to be nothing but fangirls so far. However, at least there was still hope as she glanced towards Kakashi's team. As she looked towards Saya, at least she would probably stand a chance down there, on the Kunoichi side. And not to mention her Hinata. She had trained and practiced for this, as she believed that Hinata would do well as she looked down towards the girl. However, she seemed nervous, really nervous. They had told Kunai what they witnessed in the forest. It seems that Kakashi's team was more advanced than all of them. Her team had not killed anyone. As far as she knew, Asuma team did not kill anyone yet. The Kakashi team has already spilled blood. As the rest of the matches went off, most of them were born as hell until Saya name was called, as Sasuke gave her the same good luck wishes. However, she seemed flattered by them. It was hard to get to her most times, Naruto doing the same as well, as Kakashi wished her good luck. Her opponent was Tenten. Both girls are efficient when it comes to wards, weapon training, so this match would be quite the one to see. However, Saya did not have as enough weapons as Tenten. The match started out Tenten wanted to end this quickly, and not to mention, everyone was saying that Saya was one of the best Kunoichis of their generation, especially her age group, and Tenten wanted to prove them wrong. So she went hard as possible. Saya flipped through hands and she slammed her hand down. She brought up a rock wall. It was pelted. However, some of the weapons tore through. When the thing crumbled away, Saya was nowhere to be seen. Tenten looked around until she had to duck. It was all of the training from Guy's super fast training that is the only reason why she was able to pick up on that. Some of her hair got sliced off. The bun got sliced right into. She looked up to see Saya right on the hands of the statue. The battle then continued, weapons launching from back and front. However, Saya had a more well-versed ninjutsu range as well, other than just, well, weaponry. As she coated her blades within wind, it caused an ethereal glow, just to show her master over the technique. The Jonin senseis were shocked. This girl was a genin, yet she was here pulling off techniques that most Chunins cannot do as she sliced through the weapons. Tintin was shocked as the girl kept on running towards her. As much weapons as she lost as Saya spin the two blades in her hand as she attached them by the length, turning it into a staff. She spun it as she cut through Tintin's weapons like they were nothing. Tintin tried to throw more or tried to get away, but Saya's speed was on a different level than hers. Saya separated the staff and slammed the blunt part into Tintin's stomach as she keeled over. Tintin still wouldn't give though as she reached for a kunai, however Saya kicked her right across the face, knocking her out clean. The medics came down there as they took her away, as Saya was announced the winner. As she was going easy on Tintin, after all she was a fellow Leaf Kunoichi. They got a good break as they had to clean up all of those weapons. However, Team Guy was surprised at how effortlessly Saya had dealt with Tintin, barely even getting a scratch. Neji was a bit upset by this. Everyone was claiming that Team 7 was the best out of every other team, even now, as he saw guys speaking to Kakashi, talking about Saya. Kakashi was taking in all of the praise. As much as most of their, well, training was on their own regard, he did train them as well, to make sure they can be the best as they can be. With the break over, Yujito's name was called, as she was going to be facing off against Kiba. This match only lasted a few seconds. It seems like she was doing the same thing as Dore, seemed proud. Yujito did not allow him to do a single thing. Her speed was far out of his league. Akamaru was brutally slammed away as the poor dog slammed into the wall rather roughly. Kiba was then hit with a combo that caused him to cough up a lot of blood as she slashed across his chest before delivering a wicked combo that launched him away. As he was rushed towards the infirmary as he was losing a lot of blood, there was a chance that he might die. As she just walked away, calmly as ever, making her way back towards where she stand. The Jonin sensei of the stone team looked down towards her. She was being awfully brutal. It seems like Kumo wanted to show the power that they possess as well. The shinobis were being brutal in this. Samui had shown that Ino was pathetic, and now Yujito had completely decimated Kiba. The next match afterwards was Amoy versus Choji. Choji was strong and big, but that went to a waste when fighting Amoy. Amoy was rather skilled, as he was able to evade all of Choji's attack and take him down, as he came out with the winner. At least Amoy did not rough Choji up too badly. However, he was knocked out by the end of it. A smile came on Naruto's face as he finally saw his name pop up on the board. As he wondered who was going to be his opponent, he watched as the board shuffled through names. He hoped it was Gaara. This would be a good chance just to end this, right here and now. Tintin had returned, as she had wanted to see her teammates fight even though she was bandaged up. She had returned, as a small little hospital place was inside of the tower after all. Some of the members that lost earlier had returned. Conquered returned as well, as Naruto saw his name popped up along with Akisaki. Who the hell was that? As Naruto saw the large boy made a move. So it was him. He was hoping for Gaara, but he supposed this will do. Hey, Akisaki. You know what to do, said Kurosaki. Don't worry, he says. He clenched his fists and made his way down there. He's gonna try and kill you, said Saya. Watch yourself, she said, as she saw the way the other ninjas were looking at them. The other villagers want them dead. He's a rather big guy. Don't let him squash you, said Sasuke. You know, you guys are really good at encouragements. Thank you, both of them said. Just be careful down there, Naruto, said Kakashi. And don't do anything too reckless. Understood? You don't have to worry about that, said Naruto as he calmly made his way down there. As the guy was larger than Naruto in body mass. However, Naruto was tall just as him, but he was much broader, and his hands were large, at least twice the size as Naruto's, who was on a more slimmer base. Akisaki was serious as he looked towards Naruto, as he remembered what all of them were told by Tishikage, and this was his chance. As he should not mess this up. Are both fighters ready? Asked Hayate. Akisaki nodded. Yes, said Naruto. Alright then, begin! Akisaki crossed his arms in an X motion as Naruto's fist made contact. The Genins were shocked as they looked across. Ina was looking down there. What just happened? She said. As she looked toward the spot where Naruto stood, Neji activated his Byakugan. Was that just raw speed, he thought to himself. With all the people talking about him, he knew that he was fast, but this was just ridiculous. Was that pure speed? However, Akisaki was able to bring his hand up at the right moment to block. Despite how large he was fast as hell. That is when he pushed Naruto back, as Naruto staggered a moment before he came down. The ground splits as it cracked, as Naruto dodged at the right moment. Akisaki's hand print into the earth. A smirk came on Kurasaki's face. This was over, she thought. There was no way in hell that. Boom! Their eyes went wide as an imprint was shaped into the wall. Kurosaki couldn't believe what she was seeing as Akisaki lie right into the wall, his entire body leaving a massive imprint. He tore himself out as he wobbled on his knees a bit. Kurosaki was shocked. Akisaki went down toward his stomach as he felt pain. How could his fist be so powerful? He quickly flashed through hand sign, Earth style, Earth Golem, he said, as he opened his mouth. An Earth Golem form as he climbed on the thing's shoulder. The thing then jumped right towards Naruto, as it brought down an incredible amount of force. Naruto slammed his hand on the ground as the Earth rose up. As the Earth merged and twisted into a gigantic fist that made contact with the Golem. The Golem fist made contact with it as a clash ensued. Akisaki jumped off the Golem backs and ran down the earth. However, Naruto slammed his hand into the earth column before it quickly melted into mud, causing him to slip. As he fell, he twisted his body as he dropped like a cannon. However, he was not expecting Naruto to brace himself. His entire body shrouded in chakra and Naruto caught him in mid-air, shocking the spectators there. The ground underneath him started to crack, but Naruto gritted his teeth and held on tightly to him. Akisaki had folded his arms and held on to his legs as he had tried to crush Naruto with his weight, further enhancing his body with stone. Chakra nature, but to his shot, Naruto held him up. As Naruto gritted his teeth and turned his leg, he then started to spin. Kurosaki heard Akisaki wincing in pain. However, Naruto's arms started to emit earth around it, causing a blanket of sorts wrapped around Akisaki, causing the boy to be unable to get free. As Naruto started to spin and spin and spin until electricity started to form. The Kumo group and the others stepped closer as they watched his interesting feats, as Naruto kept on spinning until his entire being and Akisaki was covered in electricity. The boy's screams were being drowned out by the crackling sound, as the others watched as he was cooking him alive inside that ball. However, Naruto seemed like he would not relent, as he threw it. When it made contact with the wall, it cracked open a gigantic hole. Steam was coming from Akisaki as the earth broke off him. However, Naruto was not done yet. The place started to get incredibly hot as Naruto raised his fist up into the air. His hands started to glow red, and more red and red. It seemed like it was gonna burst. As the ninjas around started to sweat, Hayate appeared as he gripped Naruto by the shoulder as he would not touch that hand. It's over, he said. As Naruto looked towards the man, before he calmed himself down, Hayate even had to step back. The heat was intense. As Naruto's hands slowly returned back normal, a few medics came over as they had to pick up Akisaki together. His body was steaming, burn marks were all over his face and hands. However, he was still alive. He had more durability than Naruto thought. Or maybe it was because he coated his entire body in Stone Nature Chakra. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki! Hayate announced. Naruto calmly walked back up as he looked Kurosaki directly in the eyes. She was pissed. But he paid her no mind as he simply walked. He looked all of the enemy forces. The last one was Gaara, who was smirking, as Naruto smirked back a vicious one. Now Kurenai saw what he and the others meant. Kakashi's team were more advanced than them by far. They had the will to do certain things that most Genins at their age could not do. They wouldn't have the stomach for it. As he was gonna burn him alive, and everyone saw that. He was quite brutal. Hiruzen had a cryptic look on his face, as he was worried about Naruto's innocence. They were probably gone a long time ago, but there had to be some sort of holding back, yes he knew, about his grudge against the other nations, but if he continued to fester like this, soon enough Naruto would end up causing a world war because of his grudge against them. If the match was not stopped, he would have cooked him alive, and everyone knew that. However, they were not going to say anything. Kurosaki was livid. She was raging, as she was the only one left. The other two had failed miserably. The next match was hers and Hinata's, as Kurenai gave Hinata a pep talk. However, Hinata lacked the confidence to really go all out, even in this situation. She went down there as Kurosaki started to taunt her, saying that she was shy and she wouldn't make it in this ninja world. Hinata started to seize up, as she became nervous as all eyes were on her. She calmed herself though as she started to fight. However, knowing of the Hyugas and their Byakugan, Kurosaki enhanced her body with Earth Nature all over her vital points. Her fist got covered in rock. The girl was brutal. She hit Hinata twice across the face. The fists were heavy that slammed Hinata down into the ground. It wasn't too long before she had to give up, otherwise the injuries would become fatal. The match had to be called as Hinata could not get back up. There was this glint in Kurosaki's eyes like she didn't want to stop. She looked back up towards the remaining Konoha ninjas. It was like a warning. However, the Team 7 that she was mainly looking forward to gave her a look of complete disinterest, like she was not even worth their time, and that seemed to piss her off even more. So with that, it finally came to an end, after Shikamaru had fought against Neji and lost. And Rock Lee went against Gaara, and Rock Lee lost. The match was a brutal, sadistic one on Gaara's part. He wanted to tear Rock Lee apart with the sand. Lee did not have the chance to enter the gates. As soon as the match started, he came down on him brutal. He hacked at him with his sand and grabbed him in the first shot. When Lee had to dodge, he still had his weights on, so he had no choice. As he wasn't fast enough, he was grabbed brutally, and he was trying to rip him apart. Lee had to submit, otherwise he would be torn apart. But even when he did, Gaara was still smiling, as Naruto noticed the black, dark spots on the sand. Kurenai and the others noticed as well. How could a child have such a vile intention about him? This was just not humanly possible. There had to be something wrong there, something corrupted and sickly wrong. As Naruto's gaze narrowed, he would have to send a message back to Kono and the others about this. Leviathan must know about this. With that, the finals came to an end, as they were all forced to pick a ball with a number on it. Once the numbers were stacked up, the names were written on the board. Naruto did not care much about the others, however, there was a few that he cared about as he saw their matches. Kurosaki will be facing off against Yujito of Kumo for the 4th match. The 3rd match will be Saya versus Samui. The 2nd match will be Gaara versus Neji. Temari had lost a match to Neji in the earlier rounds. And the 1st match will be something that got the two players smiling, a grin from ear to ear, as most of the competitors turned towards them. They expected to see the both of them glaring at one another ready for the upcoming matches, however, they were smiling. Kakashi sighed as he knew that the stadium would be a mess after they were done. The first match was none other than Naruto Uzumaki versus Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto had picked 1 and Sasuke had picked 2. They didn't know that it would be set this way, however. It was an opportunity for the both of them to go all out, to show what they were truly capable of. This was gonna be fun. Kakashi didn't have much to teach them. He had already taught them the basic jutsu that he knew. He taught Sasuke the Chidori already. Other than helping them a bit with their fighting style, he didn't have much, however. They all had something they had to work on personally, so he had a month off, to just relax. The rest of the competitors did not bother Naruto in the slightest, as he knew that him and Sasuke would make it to the finals, but he never expected to fight him first. However, the rest were not important, while the others were a possible threat. He would have enough time to recover, or Sasuke would, to be facing off against them in the finals. However, he was truly looking forward to this. So with that, they were given a month off for break, as the both of them gave one another a look, as that look turned into a grin on their faces. "I hope you're prepared," said Naruto. "You should be saying that about yourself," said Sasuke. "Know this, I won't go easy on you. I expect nothing less. After all, I will be doing the same. It's been a long time since we were able to truly cut loose. Well then, let us show them what we're truly capable of, shall we?" "Yes, we shall," said Naruto. Time skip. Naruto had got back from the Dragon Land. They told him to be extra careful. He could not really use them at the moment because he was waiting until the finals. However, he wouldn't use them against Sasuke, but he wanted to debut them in the finals. But he supposed he will have his chance. Although Sasuke has gotten stronger over the past couple of years, truly stronger, and there was no doubt that he would be revealing the Mangekyou to show his power, to show that the Inferno Uchiha is once again a great one. Well then, it seems like he would have to give it his all. However, when he got back, the Hokage told him that the fourth Hokage's teacher had took interest in him after watching the match of the preliminaries. It was all being videoed, as he was supposed to meet him at this location, the bathhouse. As Naruto heard giggling as he looked up towards the tree. Meanwhile, that was going on. "So you're gonna fight Naruto? I suppose you're disappointed that you won't get to fight the others." "No," said Sasuke as he looked towards Ayam. "Really? Why?" she said. "In fact, out of everyone else there, he was the one I wanted to fight the most. Yes, the others are to be crushed as well to show that Konoha is still powerful, however. He's the strongest one there. There's no doubt about that. In the past, he always had the one up on me, but now, I'm confident enough to say that I've reached his level. And I will be the one to win this time. So you've been carrying a grudge since all those years ago. A bit petty, don't you think?" "I suppose," Sasuke said, "but it doesn't matter. I will be the one to be victorious." I am giggling her palm at that, finding it extra funny. Sasuke didn't know why, but ever since she had stopped him from committing that horrible sin to himself, he started to hang out with her more, even when Naruto wasn't here, and he started extremely liked her company. I liked his company as well. Sasuke didn't let most people in, but the people that he did let in, you realize that he was a fun guy, and he was extremely nice as well. Granted, he was just 2 years younger than her being 16 and him being 14, well, he was almost 15 now. The thought of something happening between them was rather strange, however. It had crossed the both of their minds, but they tried to block it out. They were just friends, they told themselves. But it was weird. As they gotten so used to each other's company, it was just different. She saw Naruto as a brother, as she loved him as such. She hadn't known Sasuke until a few years ago. However, he was a child back then. Granted, she was just 2 years older than him. It still didn't, and not to mention he was Naruto's best friend. So these thoughts shouldn't be in her head. However, they have been spending more time together often, even without Naruto being here. Not to say that Naruto didn't come by every time to eat a buttload of ramen, but still, it was weird. "Well, I'll be there to cheer you guys on," she said. "Don't go and hurting each other too much." "Oh, you don't have to worry about that," Sasuke said, with a gleam in his eye. "I'm not so sure," she said. Meanwhile, that was going on. Danzo was happy. This was a better course of action. The two strongest for them to flaunt their power in front of everyone was gonna be great. However, he had a problem. A long time ago. He had been keeping tracks on Orochimaru and been keeping in contact with the man. However, so far Konoha has been running in his favor, and he had cut all ties with Orochimaru. Well, Orochimaru had stopped, becoming more vocal, so he had just gotten rid of that. However, he never knew where the man was located, so there wasn't a chance of him sending a strike team there to eliminate Orochimaru. However, that was a problem. He recently spoke to the Hokage, Hiruzen, about Orochimaru's sightings within the village. The man was up to something. He would never let Konoha rest. Never. As Danzo knew that he had to do something to stop him, he didn't want this exam to be ruined. He wanted the world to see the power and might that the Konoha ninjas possess. He needed to gather information to find out if Orochimaru is up to anything, to put a stop to it immediately. After all, he can't have him ruin this exam. He just can't. Konoha, in a very long while, was once again gonna flaunt their power. After this exam was finished, he had no doubt that the other nations will finally see that they were nothing compared to them. Nothing at all. That brought a smirk to his face. Later that night, Jiraiya came wobbling inside the office as he plopped down in a chair. So, how did it went? Here's an axe. Surprisingly, great. Wait, really? Harrison said. Yeah. He couldn't sign the contract because he already had the dragon contract, as you said. But when I told him I wanted to help him because I was interested in his, progress, he told me that I was lying. Seems like the kid has a knack for telling what people were lying about. I tried to play it off as best as I could, however, I decided to cut my loss and just tell him. And when I did, he was silent for a long while. I thought he was about to erupt, but he told me he understood. He told me that it wouldn't have been easy for me to take him along while he was running his spine at work. Although he did insult me by saying that he would have probably been better off because I would have turned him into a pervert, and I don't look like I could raise a child to save my life. But he was pretty pissed off that I didn't come here. We talked, but he was still pissed, so I decided to bribe him with a few jutsus. And he also wants for me to take him to Ichiraka Ramen at least 3 times. Hiruzen started to burst out laughing. What's so funny? Oh, nothing. Come on, you're holding back something. What's so funny? I assure you, nothing is so funny. It's just Naruto insulting you, that's all. Really? That's what's got you so worked up? Yes, that's it. However, Hiruzen was lying. He knew Naruto quite well and decided to treat him most of the times. And that was a big mistake on his part. The kid almost bankrupted him. The kid was able to eat 6 to 8 ramen bowls in one setting. Jiraiya Pocket was gonna cry afterwards. However, perhaps he deserved it. Yes, he does deserve it. So Hiruzen won't say a damn thing. They spent time talking within the office as the next day came by. Naruto met up with Jiraiya as the training began once again, as he was teaching Naruto how to perform the Rasengan. Sasuke was busy doing his own thing. Saya was working on her wind manipulation for the finals. Everyone was off doing their own thing. That same darkness that was lurking on Gaara was still there. Whatever this thing was, it had a great hatred for Naruto. And it seemed nothing more than to want him to be eviscerated from this world. Perhaps it will have its chance in the upcoming invasion though, as Orochimaru was gonna start a dangerous game with Konoha. Perhaps one that he wouldn't be able to finish. Time skip. The day was buzzing with people from all over. This was a rare, shocking sight. It's been a long time for 4 Kages to be in one location. The only one that was missing was the Mizukage. This was not good. Kages gathering like this could never yield a good result. With the Orochimaru attack, things were being sketchy. And not to mention the Kazekage was hiding his face, acting rather different. Last time Hiruzen remembered him, he was acting different. And the bad thing about it was, 2 of these Kages only had one competitor, that being Gaara for the sand and Kurosaki for the stone. The Raikage only had 2. They were all seated as they made small talk, trying not to show their disdain for one another, because none of them like one another, it seems. Well, that is quite public. However, though, Hiruzen had made extra precautions after he found out Tishikage was coming. Jiraiya was a distance away on top of the roof. As he hid himself, there were several envoys located all around the stadium. Several ninjas there to protect the daimyos. Because something like this was never easy to go on without any destruction. However, what everyone came here to see was finally out. The people of Konoha was gathered in the numbers. They were locked and filled. Many was here to see the last Uchiha, however, as much as many of them thought of him as a demon in the past. The rise in popularity of Naruto's name has skyrocketed through the records, and today was going to be a shocking day. And Hiruzen was going to shock the populace even more and shock the Tishikage as well. However, Naruto wanted this as well, and he had also discussed it with Jiraiya. The kid was able to protect himself. Jiraiya had saw for himself firsthand. And if he wanted to carry his father's name as a pride of honor, as a badge to show that he wasn't afraid of anyone else, and a further reason to make the populace of Konoha respect him even more. As Hiruzen had no doubt that, after this match, the boys will be promoted. However, he had not revealed the rank that he would promote them to just yet. As he got to his feet and gave a speech, all the Kages had something to say, but nothing too good or nothing too bad. The Tishikage looked over the field. He looked rather cautious. There was 2 guards behind him. As he looked rather cautious, but yet at the same time curious about the boys down there. The Raikage was abrasive as ever, as he didn't seem to really care about the situation around him. Or maybe it was just an act. The Kazekage was quiet as ever, as Hiruzen remained quiet as well. This was quite the sight to see. After all, there were 4 Kages in one location. But the most shocking statement was, the Tishikage was here in Konoha after what happened between him and that blonde fool. He thought in his mind, he always resented and hated that man with a passion. However, today was the day that he found out something that was rather shocking. "Alright," said Genma as he was a proctor for this round. "I know that you all have been waiting for this, so let us not delay this anymore, shall we?" The people exploded in cheers as the 2 boys were already there in front of one another. First, Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Namikaze. The place was confused. Hearing that name, Oniki snapped his gaze towards Hiruzen, who got to his feet. "Our Hokage will explain." "People of Konoha," Hiruzen said, "I'm going to make this short so to not waste much of your time. However, that child standing right there, Naruto Uzumaki as you know him, is the son of Minato Namikaze, our 4th Hokage." The place was speechless. Shock. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. "What?" Oniki said. "Yes, Minato had a child all those years ago," said Hiruzen. "Well, let's not waste any more time and let's get right into this. An announcement will be made after the exam. But from now on, he will be going by Naruto Namikaze, as is his birthright." As Hiruzen sat back down, giving the holding back over to Genma. "The looks. It was staring me dead in the face. That child is the son of Minato," said the Raikage as he kept his cool. Oniki's fist clenched. However, the man just tried to remain calm. "You hid this information for a long time. I'm surprised that you were able to keep it from the populace," said Oniki as he remained calm. "Well, it's about time the world knew of him right now. He is more than strong enough to protect himself from anyone that comes in his way. Well, I don't need to be the one to tell you. Why don't you all witness for yourself, shall we?" Down in the arena. "Are you ready?" asked Genma, as both boys nodded. Genma began the match as he jumped away. The people were still reeling, however they decided to watch the match, as most of them feel conflicted because of the way they treated him when he was younger, the glares, the talking behind his back. Some of them were shocked, some of them were in denial. "Well, it's finally out," said Sasuke. "Now you can get the respect that you deserve." "That didn't really mean much to me anyway," said Naruto. "As long as I have people like you, Ion, the old man, and all those I care about, the rest does not matter. Well said Sasuke. So, are you ready for this? As I said, I will not be holding back. I will show you what I can finally do. And I expect the same in return. As Naruto smiled. Alright Sasuke. Let us push each other to our limits. And then, break through them to a higher level of power, shall we? Sasuke chuckled at that. Yes. Let us see how far we can go, he said, his Sharingan quick to life. Three-toed him spinning almost hypnotically. As Naruto chuckled, as he braced himself. Well then, he said, let us do this, shall we? A distance away, there was a man. He was wearing a purple clothing, black sandals. He had red hair, a few small wrinkles in his face. This man had a hidden stone headband on. Behind him there was a buttload of ninjas. This man was not normal. In fact, he was a literal beast. The power that was inside of him was a beast. And he was here to cause pure chaos. This man was from the hidden stone and he was a Jinchuriki. He was a Jinchuriki off. The four-tailed monkey. This was Roshi. The reason why he was here was quite simple. There was a reason why Oniki was glancing over the area so much and was being cautious. From the reports his granddaughter sent back to him, he realized now that Konoha was getting too strong. Thus, Orochimaru was able to use their paranoia against them. Konoha was in deep shit right now, because not only the sand or the sound, the stone and Kumo had shinobis from all over, all around the selective border, ready to strike. There were massive seal arrays all over as well, ready to summon gigantic snakes to attack the village. Kumo shinobi. All of the Kages decided to keep one of their Jinchurikis back to their home after all. There was a good chance this invasion might fail, despite the powerhouse that they have. The right Kage already had his in the village, Yujito, and her task was simple, to kill those boys. There was a chance that Konoha might not survive, not to mention that thing that was inside of Gaara that was currently taking him for a ride, using him at the moment was out to get Naruto's blood. Pure chaos was gonna reign within the village. There was a chance that the village might fall. After all, with the amount of power coming their way, who will be able to stop them and save them? Well, you guys have to see that next time because yes guys, it's out. I'm gonna be ending this right here. If you want to see the next part, you already know what to do. Comment down below and tell me what's the next part. But for now, I'm out. See you guys soon. Peace guys.